Okay. Hello, everybody. How are we all? We all doing well? Good. Welcome to the third JCR meeting of Epiphany term. It is my final meeting and the final meeting with the current exec. So let's get started. Can I get an approval of last meeting's minutes with the general eye, please?
Aye.
Aye.
Click.
Aye.
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 Thank you very much. And now we are going to go on to our just an eye from Camille there, thank you. It's too much effort to bloody open the chat when I'm sharing my screen, God. We're going to go on to our procedural motions and then to our officer reports. And I've done each of the exec members as our favourite singer, Alexandra Burke. We're going to go through which exec members are certain types of Alexandra Burke. And I was going to try and play music, but it wasn't working. So we'll just pretend Bad Boys is playing in the background. So, Chris, Food Services, you are Saturday Kitchen, Alexandra Burke.
Hello. There's not been much from me, as normal, with the bar closed. There's not much opportunity to do much. My favourite moment of the year is seeing everybody back in the bar on Returners Night, and hopefully the next Food Services Officer can actually get some stuff done.
Thank you, Chris. And then we're Bar Steward, Elephant in the Room, Alexandra Burke. So this was a moment where Alexandra Burke thought that she brought something really new to the UK. And I feel like it's just something Emily would do, thinking that she's got this phrase from nowhere. Emily.
Hi. My favourite thing from my role this year was the liver out coming back to the bar. And my hopes for this role is that Lucy gets to bring in lots of new drinks and has a fantastic time in her role as bar steward. So very good luck to Lucy. And good luck to Katie Nola for tonight. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens.
Thank you, Emily. And then we've got Shireen, who is the bodyguard Burke. So a bit of a musical because she can do a bit of singing.
Thank you, Jake. So my favourite thing was when we were young and naive before COVID happened. We were trying to plan our way around everything during summer. And the future of the role, I hope that we'll be able to keep embracing the diversity that Butler students have and all the excitement for the societies, and that we just keep supporting each other in our hobbies.
Stunning. And then we've got Piers, Sports Officer, First Dates, Alexandra Burke. That's because Piers once applied to go on First Dates, didn't you, Piers?
And was interviewed. May I just say I was not selected though, unfortunately. So my favourite thing was the 17 days of sport we had, the 17 days, and chatting with everyone online, getting to know kind of all the presidents and society and captains. And then also how motivated everyone was during even our multiple lockdowns. And in the future of the role, hopefully varsity can go ahead in Easter term, and hopefully sports can somewhat go back to normal from the 29th of March and the 17th of May, I think it is. Yeah.
Thank you, Piers. We've got Orla, second audition, Alexandra Burke. This is when she went on to win. That's Orla.
Thanks. So my favourite bit from this year is probably the reformers lunches at the start of the year. For the freshers, they were really fun, and One World Formal the other day was also great, even though it was online. And going forward, I'm hoping that actually next year we'll be able to have some events in person, some formals, and looking forward to seeing what George has got planned for us. So yeah.
Brilliant, thank you. Publicity Officer, Broken Heels, Alexandra Burke. Always got your heels on, Lily, and doing sports apparently.
My favourite thing of this, my favourite thing from this year is being able to offer to the Butler students all the free publicity licences, and I really hope that's something we can continue going forward, just because I think it's an opportunity that students don't get very often because it's so expensive.
Lovely, thank you very much, Lily. And we're going on to Sean, who is Bad Boys Burke. Sean, can you give your officer report, please?
Hi, so not much going on. My favourite moment definitely is the few instances that we get to meet personally, like not online. And one of them is our first meeting and only meeting that is offline in Sotwell. and the second one is during Christmas. And yeah, I definitely hope not so much for the next officer, but international com as a whole, that we get to meet each other next year very soon, hopefully. Yeah.
Thank you. And then we've got the welfare officers, which is Crying with Beyonce, Alexandra Burke.
Hey, Brad, do you want to go
Whatever
first?
Yeah, sure. So the only new thing from last time is obviously mentioned the new suppliers form. We have now got a name for the suppliers form. We call it the supplies and replies. That is literally being launched after this meeting. So that's really exciting. My favorite thing about being welfare this year, to be honest, has just been how fantastic it's been to do it with Emily. You've been an absolute rock, and thank you so much for convincing me to run for it last year. It's been an amazing year. And yeah, do you want to? And oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Do you want to go next? Yeah.
Yeah. So we've got Shag Week coming up, which is Sexual Health and Guidance Week this week, and then my favourite part would probably have been Freshers Week, getting to meet people. I know we haven't been able to do that throughout the campaign weeks, but it was really nice to see some freshers. And then I really wish Jamie and Daisy all the best in the years and hope that they can have some more in-person things.
Seconded.
Thank you. Lewis, Treasurer, in front of money, Alexandra Burke.
Thanks for that. Yeah, my favourite moment of the year was probably when the final Sports and Societies budget was reviewed in Finance Com. And that was a big, deep breath after that. It was very fun. And going forward, I'm hoping Sean has a lot of fun with the new Finance Committee reshuffle, and I hope it all goes well, and I wish the best of luck to him.
Cheers, Lewis. And Ellie, Vice President as first, audition Alexandra Burke. Lots of potential, but need to sort yourself out a bit.
I think that was a read. But my favourite thing has been seeing everyone get involved during COVID, like hosting regular meetings online and events, and there's been a huge rise in some committee numbers. So that's been really exciting this year. And I want to hopefully continue with the Connect project with the schools that me and Sam are starting up with Butler and beyond. And I hope to see that grow in third term and for many years to come. And a massive good luck to everyone running tonight.
Thank you very much, Ellie. And we've gone on to Darcy as the Alexandra Burke in the finale. Hallelujah.
Hello. Well, I'll just do a regular little officer report because this is not my last meeting. So I've started organising the virtual networking event, which is shaping up to be a really nice event. I'd really recommend anyone and everyone signing up, whether you're pretty certain of what you want to do or have no idea at all. There'll be some really nice talks from alumni, and that's all part of Butler and Beyond as well. We've got a finance com meeting tomorrow, so we'll be doing some reviewing of the budget. Yeah, family fortunes carrying on, bits and bobs. And good luck to Ola and Katie.
Thank you, Darcy. Sam, Alexandra Burke on Strictly, obviously.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, again, I'm here for a while, 3 months. So I'll do a regular one. Firstly, working with welfare on this supplies request form and with college staff on improving and redesigning the quiet room, which was an idea that you might remember started in a JCR meeting. So that's fun. I've been doing some kind of preliminary looks at the overall structure of the JCR. Since we started, we've doubled in size in 1 year and nothing really changed. Things have been bolted on, but not a cohesive look. So you'll see the first of those considerations coming through today. And then finally, I've just been continuing trying to understand how the DSO framework, we're a DSO, we're not a charity at the moment, but we may be soon. Look, I hope you look forward to that. How that's going to change in the next few months, just to make sure we make the right choice in our vote in March. That's me. Thanks. Oh, also though, this is the last meeting of all the exec, and I just think I want to say publicly, for the records, for the minutes, you've all done an amazing job. It's been really great having you. Oh, Darcy, what was that?
I just said I second that.
I love you all.
Thanks. Okay, so my next one, my Alexandra Burke, is definitely my favourite out of all of these. So these are photos that I took myself. This is Mary's Day, Alexandra Burke, when I went to see her at Mary's Day, and this is me. So I'm just going to use my officer report just to say a few thank yous as well, seeing as it's my last meeting. Big thank you to all of the exec and everybody who has come to these meetings. Thank you so much for supporting me with that as well. But a massive, massive thank you to Harry, Ned and Camille for being my vice chairs. They've been absolutely fantastic, supporting me, organising all of these JCR meetings. I literally could not have done it without you, and I would have had even more breakdowns than I have already had. So thank you to all of you. Thank you very much. Okay. We don't have any, thank you. We don't have any questions of officers. Let me just see what's going on in the chat. We love you, Jake. Okay, thank you, everyone. Don't big up my ego anymore. Matters arising. Camille, do you mind just talking a tiny little bit about independence? Because we've got it coming up soon.
Hi. So the vote on, as Sam mentioned, whether we transition our sort of legal status from a DSO under the university into an independent charity will be coming up. We'll be starting this Sunday, the 14th. So keep an eye on your email inboxes and social media for some posters, videos, and FAQs about the pros and cons. I'm sorry I haven't been able to get them out a bit sooner, but I've just been swamped with work. The vote itself will be from the 14th to the 28th of March. So we'll have a nice big 2-week chunk to properly digest all that information and get turnout as high as possible, engagement as high as possible. So we can be confident that it's a decision made with the consideration of enough JCR members. You'll have plenty of time to ask myself, Darcy, Sam, and Jonathan Grocott if you're an MCR member, any questions, or Hugh, of course. We're looking for a minimum turnout of 20%. The MCR will be holding its own vote in the same time. I think they're looking for 25%, but that's because they're a smaller organization by an order of magnitude. So yeah, please do spread the word to your friends that this is coming up. Please, when the materials are released in the next couple of days, please have a read of them. If you don't understand what's going on, don't be demoralized, just ask. I'm probably a good person to go to as well as Darcy and Sam. I'm around for the next couple of weeks, just being able to answer anyone's questions about what the decision is on, what does it mean for the JCR one way or another. So please do engage with it as soon as the info is out. If we do vote to establish ourselves as a charity, so we'll find out on the 28th or the 29th of March, just after the vote is concluded, then the remaining time between now and August, which is the start of the uni's new financial year, and therefore sort of our implicit deadline, will be spent finalizing our board of trustees, signing all the necessary contracts for stuff like insurance, and submitting our constitutional documents to the Charity Commission. If we vote to remain a DSO, well, nothing's going to change immediately, and we'll just reevaluate what that means for our future. But yeah, it's in your hands, and keep an eye out for more info so you can make an informed decision. Thank you. That's all from me.
Thank you, Camille. So we've got motions next. For the people who are presenting the motions, we're going to try take the actual motions themselves as read. So just try and give a quick overview, just because we've got quite a lot of stuff going on later. So that was just to Sam and Darcy, really. But so firstly, with Sam, please, can you just tell us a little bit about this one?
This basically better reflects what we already do. It's taking some of the old standing orders, which are a bit out of date. It references Ball Committee, Fashion Show Committee, and Butler Day Committee. One of those doesn't exist. One of those, it doesn't really operate like that. And it's basically putting all our events into one big committee so that they can share resources, have the same structure, the same support from me and Darcy and from TechCom, and just making the standing orders reflect what we already do, more or less. Most of the event chairs seem very happy with this, so I hope you are too. Please enjoy.
Lovely. Do we have any questions for Sam for this motion? You can
do you raise your hand or do you just speak?
Just speak, Lara. Just speak.
Okay. Can I amend this motion, please, if it pleases the court?
Is that okay with Sam?
Yeah.
Yeah. We can make an amendment and we can add it to the minutes after. I assume that's okay. Yeah.
I believe we have to put it on a general eye in the meeting that the amendment is that we're happy with the amendment.
So, Laura, what would your amendment be?
Well, I think that this new committee that's being put together should also include the head of the Equality and Diversity Committee. Should I say reasons?
Yeah, give reasons, and then we'll do a little vote on it.
Yeah, just because in the event that this committee, you know, like when it's put together, it'll probably be put together based on like events and like that kind of curriculum. So it's to ensure that minority voices are still represented when these events are being planned, and so that, you know, when themes are being picked, when like activities are being picked, they're not infringing on anyone's identities or misrepresenting anyone's cultures or anything like that.
Do you have anything to add to that, Sam?
No, that sounds good.
Okay, could we approve the amendment on a general aye, please?
Aye.
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 Lovely.
Aye.
We'll get that added to this motion in the minutes, and I'll send out a new version of the motion as well. And that can be the one that we'll vote on online. Okay. Any other questions, or is that okay?
Yes. Actually, sorry, can I ask a question? This is actually, well, I probably should have said it sooner before everyone approved the amendment, because what Laura said kind of reminds me of something that I am about to ask the candidates later in later running elections. But I'm just wondering if this committee is kind of like independent committee out of other like equality and diversity comm, or is it gonna be a committee that consists members of other committee as well, like leading members of other committees?
So here, basically, the committee consists of the JCR president, the FACSO, the social chair, which is a kind of a new addition, I guess, and the tech directors, just because they're the people who work on every single event. And then you essentially, the board chairs rotate through and operate in the same way they always have. So that's the entire membership of the committee. Lara's motion adds the equality and diversity chair to that if it's amended.
Yeah.
And well, if you think other people should sit on there too, it can be amended. And of course, the committee can collaborate with other people.
Yeah, because it just kind of reminds me that I think I think the green, well, it's not necessarily green comm, but you know, it should be amended for it to be greener if we want it to be more equal and diverse as well, because they are both JCR values that we endorse. And there's like no reason for we only to have one values manifested in these committees, but not the other. If you get what I mean.
Yeah, so I'd say maybe a good thought would be to include the vice president on there, for example, who touches on most of the JCR values, or it could be to, as you say, include the green rep. Any of those, well, you're welcome to propose those. Of course, the committee should be in keeping with JCR values anyway, and the president being on there should assure that under their role and remit. It's in the standing orders. So yeah, it's up to you.
Another safety net for that is that finance committee overlook and approve budgets, and they will be considering whether budgets sit within our values and will reject things that perhaps don't.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm still a bit. But okay, yeah, sure.
I'll suggest is if this motion does pass, you can do a motion next time that changes little parts within the committee standing orders. I think that'll probably be the best thing to do with this. Is that okay?
I'll say I'm not offended if you do want to amend it, for example. But
no,
like,
it's not really like I don't like the amendment or I want to amend it more or anything. I just kind of am confused that. I mean, it would probably be I'm really sorry. It's just I'll keep it later. I'll keep it in private conversations later. That's all I'm asking about right now. Yeah.
I think that's the best idea for this one. Yeah, I think that's the best idea. Just because you can change it later if you want anyway. So is that okay?
Yeah.
Lovely. Thank you very much. We'll move on from this one. I'll put this one as a vote online, including the Equality and Diversity Amendment. And remember, any of these motions, you can obviously vote against or for, and you can always submit a motion that changes little parts within each of these committees later on anyway. Okay, so we're going to go on to our levy motion here. So Darcy.
Hi everyone. So this motion is just to ensure that our levy is being constantly considered and reconsidered. It's just to say that every year Finance Committee need to submit a motion in the second to last meeting to say whether they think a change is due or whether they don't. Just to make sure that as an entire JCR, we're always considering our levy price.
Okay, do you have any questions for Darcy on this one? I'll take that as a no for that one then. So we can move on from that. That will be again online. So we'll be putting that up for a vote too. And then Sam, can you just do this one about JCR awards? Sam?
Sorry, George Oliver's just distracts me. It's all right. He's fine. Make noise, it's fine. Yeah, so this motion is about the JCR awards, and basically the way they operate currently is that people, the incoming exec plus the outgoing exec, making around 24 people, come to a room, and basically we go through everyone in college and decide like if they should get an award or not. Now, from my perspective, I think it's quite a toxic thing, which is why I've posed the motion. You know, it's a very large panel discussing the merits of a lot of people, and it's to do with the incoming exec as they're just taking up their roles, which to me isn't the best start to that. So essentially what this does is reduces the size of the panel to very few exec members, just to remove that kind of open debate around people's you know, if they've done well or badly, and it also allows people to submit anonymous nominations so that we don't lose any kind of insight about, so people can self-nominate essentially so that no one's overlooked, because part of the justification of a large panel is that we have a better, you know, we get more people essentially. So yeah, that's that.
Just vocalise who will be on the panel.
What does it say? Very sorry, I should.
Oh, I can read it. President, FACSO, Vice President, Societies Officer and Sports Officer would be on the panel, and that's from the outgoing exec.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I say the rationale is just because they oversee all the student groups, which is where most of these awards come from. The president to oversee and essentially have the final choice, and the FACSO are also there because they have a lot of oversight in the JCR.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for this one? Brad?
Yeah, so just sorry, just a quick question on sort of like, you know, so if someone's being put up for a specific award, for example, let's say it was like one of the like assistant welfare officers, how would you go about sort of getting the information from someone who's not on that, not on the, was it the board? Sorry.
Panel.
Yeah, on the panel. So if there's someone like that's not on the panel that might know something specific about someone that's up for award, like how would you go about getting the information from the relevant people to help with the decision?
Well, I don't think the decision should be that complex. Really, when people nominate, and we should encourage them to give full kind of detailed nominations, the rationale should be there, including if you self-nominate anonymously. That's fine. I think we can discuss that. In terms of you know, I think we should rely more on these nominations than on the opinions of people necessarily in a room. It's about evaluating what's written and the rationale behind it. I don't think people will lie on these nominations. And I think something we should do is really encourage people to nominate and push it a bit more and ask for detailed nominations. We can also ask for advice as well.
Can I get one more question? If not, we can move on. No, that's fine. That one will be going online as well. So we can move on to our elections now. So I'll just stop sharing my screen. And here we all are. I'm just going to put you in full screen. I can see you all. Okay. So we're going to start our elections now. We were going to start with the non-exec ones first, but I'm going to bump up international officer just because of time zone issues that we've got at the moment. So I've got two candidates for this role. I've got Gory and I've got Dia, and I think I'm getting Gory to go first. So Dia, I'm just going to pop you into the waiting room if that's okay. Just done that now. And then Gory, I'll give you your 4 minutes for your host. And you can go Now.
We have become not a melting pot, but a beautiful mosaic. Different people, different beliefs, different yearnings, different hopes, and different dreams. It's a quote by Jimmy Carter and one that I'm going to start off on my speech. Hello, my name is Gori and I'm a first-year law student. From the minute I stepped off the bus and caught a glimpse of the college way back in September, I absolutely fell in love with Butler. And with the opportunity of being your international officer, I'm hoping to make the atmosphere even more vivid and vibrant. Despite being in a pandemic and facing restrictions, I was still able to get involved in events and meet amazing people and learn about their experiences. I also learned that dancing in Durham in paper-thin clothing is not a good idea. First and foremost, I believe it is important to use the weekly meetings as a platform for discussion about cultural and world issues, in addition to having fun. And having a theme for each week, I think would not only make proceedings more interesting, but would also enable everyone attending the meeting to leave with some newly learned knowledge. So whether it be casual debates or arranging panel discussions, or even something as simple as watching a movie, I think all of them would work wonderful in terms of education and capturing the essence of the International Committee's purpose. Secondly, I think it is essential that the International Committee must serve as a forum where students can get information, not only about facilities and services available in Butler, but also about the wider Durham experience. Connecting them with Durham's wide ethnic societies and the Durham International Association would make things a lot easier for them. At the same time, communicating with these societies and interacting with them would also help to improve Butler international events as well. I would also have an orientation with the FREPs during Freshers Week just to inform them about common problems international students do face and how to go about helping them, even if it's something as simple as creating a bank account, which is something a lot of us struggle with. That being said, during festivals and events, I would also try to increase participation from non-international students as well, because one, the more people, the merrier. That is, if COVID gets better. And I'd work with the social committee for this purpose. Second, just having people from different corners of the world interact and talk and have fun leads to people developing an appreciation for different cultures and different aspects of people. And I think having such an appreciation is something that is truly beautiful. On the general note of making international students feel more welcomed and integrated, I would coordinate with the POC rep and have discussions and systems in place to make Butler more inclusive. I believe in collaboration and cooperation in achieving different objectives. So I would like to work with the Bar Suet to occasionally have drinks from all over the world and different cuisines occasionally. I think that would give everyone a nice taster of what food from different parts of the world tastes like. I used to volunteer at a theater back home, and during Navratri, they would have these improvised Bollywood shows. And I think working with different societies such as the Theater Sock or the Movie Sock or even Butler Bakers would enable international students not only to get involved, but also be part of the wider Butler society. To conclude, so I'm not really sure of how to conclude the speech, so I have something different planned out for you guys. Give me a minute. My phone decides to stop working now. Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much. That was an interesting ending. Thank you. I'm just going to pop you into the waiting room. Thank you. And then we'll get Dia in now. Wow. Hello, Dia. Hello, Dia.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. You can start now.
Oh, wait. Sorry, just
Okay.
Okay, great.
Brilliant. Okay, off you go.
So hi everyone, I'm Dia. and I'm a second-year education and psychology student from China, and I'm also the current assistant international officer. So I'm just gonna move on straight to the ideas that I have for the coming year. So firstly, I believe it is important to address our welfare for international students. And in my Freshers Week, I remember that although there were plenty of great events and the FREPs they're so enthusiastic, but there was a lack of support for international students in like police registration or setting up their bank account, etc. And moreover, having to be so far away from home and living in a different country, I believe many international students could suffer alone from mental health problems because of uni work and, more importantly, cultural misunderstanding. So therefore, I would like to work closely with our welfare and ENDCOM to establish this welfare support system for international students to let them know that they do not need to suffer in silence with their problems as a college member. And also, I would like to propose more diversity in our FREP teams in the future. And during the FREP training, there should be sessions on international students' common problems with their registration or other logistics to prepare the FREPs on signposting them to the right place. And secondly, we're talking about diversity and inclusivity here. Like in the past, we celebrated Diwali, like Chinese New Year, etc. And we've thrown like fantastic International Week events. And I would like to keep up with the good work. And it is important that everyone should be comfortable and willing to share and celebrate their culture with us. And their culture should be kindly respected by others. So therefore, apart from throwing specific events to celebrate different cultural festivals, I also want to use social media as a platform for people to share facts and traditions about their culture in this way. So hopefully we can really create this cultural learning environment, and everyone who participated in those events have actually like learned something about the culture behind that. And so in the past 2020, I know that COVID has really destroyed our connections with each other. So therefore, I would like to put extra effort on rebuilding the connections. So first, I will encourage international students' involvement within the JCR community, and also local students' participation within international comm. And this can be achieved through like various collaborations with our different societies and communities within our college. And second, I think as internationals, we also need to go beyond Butler College. Therefore, I would also work on exploring the ways we can connect with our wider Durham community. And in the future, we can build stronger integrations with the ISA Durham and other colleges like our buddy Stevenson next door. For example, during International Freshers Week, we can have join quiz nights, karaoke, or like werewolf games, or even we can have bar crawls at different colleges, like only under COVID-free situations. And also we can bring students to engage with our local communities by using our great college volunteering system. So as you know that we have the international intergenerational project and also like different other volunteering projects. And lastly, I also have an idea of reconnecting with our Butler international alumni. So like hopefully we can invite them back to college, like if travel permits, or we can interviewing them online to welcome them to share their life at Butler, or like their genuine advice on uni life as international students. And along with the other idea I have in mind, which is an international parental system, this hopefully can encourage current and future graduates to keep connections with the college, no matter where they are in the world. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Dear, are you okay to answer questions? Doesn't matter if you're not.
That's okay. Yeah, I think.
Sure? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I think Gory's just come back in. Does anybody have any questions for our candidates?
Yes.
Go
on. So this is quite straightforward. So what do you think is, speaking from your experience, what do you think is the struggle that international students face the most, and how would you help them?
Is that okay? Yeah. Can we go to Dia first with that?
Sorry.
So
what is the struggle international students have, and how would you help them with that?
I'm sorry, so is your question, what do you think international students most struggle?
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah.
Well, I think, well, like based on my experience, like I'm not sure whether it applies to all the international students, but based on my experience, and I've like talking with many of my friends, like I think maybe the most like problem here is like the fear of being misunderstood and the fear of getting like being excluded by the wider community, like because like I know that, for example, like I'm a Chinese student, and like I come from a complete different time zone, complete different cultural background, and I've never really studied in the UK prior before like university. So I remember in Freshers Week having a really hard time trying to fit in, like I know we have our International Freshers Week and Freshers Week, but I just remember really struggled, like really struggled to understand many of the events that we're having. Like I remember, like I didn't even understand what a bar crawl is actually when I first came here, and I just don't really understand why there were so many parties. And yeah, and but like somehow I managed.
Sorry, dear, is it okay if I just cut
Sorry?
you off? Because we need Gory.
Oh yeah, sure.
Sorry. Gory, could you ask the same question, please?
I think my answer would be quite similar in terms of, I think it's a cultural shock sometimes, I think, especially because we come from really different environments, and the way we function in general is quite different. So I think most international students, it would just be adjusting a lot, because I think the mindset of international students, or just people who are not from the UK, is quite different from the ones we have here. And I think it took quite a bit of time for me to kind of understand certain traditions and events. And like same thing, I didn't understand why there were so many bar crawls here, and that partying was such a huge thing. Yeah, I think it's just cultural shocks and adjustments.
Thank you. Is it okay if anyone has any other questions, they could send them to me privately, and then we'll get them to the two candidates, just because we don't have too much time remaining, but that's just for the international officer election, and they'll be answered in the minutes. Okay. And that election is going to be Gory versus Dia versus Ron there. And we're going to move swiftly on to the vice chair election. So I know that we've got Rishi going for this one. Is anybody else wanting to run for vice chair? Just speak up if you would like to. No, lovely. Rishi, do you want to start with your host?
Good evening. I'm Rishi, and I'm a first-year law student, and I'm running for the position of vice chair. I looked at the requirements for this position, and the main one really was like typing minutes up, and my typing speed averages around about like 95 words per minute. So like typing up the minutes, like for me will be quite easy, because like I'll just do it quickly and effectively. I do have good time managing skills and organizing skills, so like updating the standing orders, sending out the minutes before the meetings, everything like that will be done like very, very promptly and well ahead of time. As for publicity and getting people to attend the meetings, I'd ask people to send in their manifestos and speeches like way in beforehand, so I can create summaries to send out to people. So like alongside the agenda, probably in an attached document, everyone would have the summaries of what's being said during the meeting. So like that way, the people attending the meetings will have more of an idea of what's going on, rather than just like a vague title in the agenda. And also the people that aren't able to attend the meeting still know what's being discussed. I think like knowing more about the meetings in detail will get more people to come, especially if they kind of spot something that like they themselves are more passionate about. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody else running at all? No? Okay, that's fine. Could I get some questions, please, for Rishi? it is quite annoying that the current vice chairs can't ask any, but maybe the new vice chair can, but then she is also minuting now. So Sam, you got a question?
Me?
Go on.
Go on then. Do you think, I guess maybe this is unfair because you might not know what kind of, what opportunities do kind of online JCR meetings present that online JCR meetings don't, and which do you think is better?
With online meetings, obviously, I don't know if the in-person ones are recorded or anything like that, but you can record the online meetings and like people can go back to them, refer to them, and I think it might be easier for like minute taking, especially. Like if you miss something, you can always like play it back and then kind of add in what you missed and stuff like that. And also like if people are like out, especially international students, if they're especially like during now, people can join from all over the world. So I think that's quite a big advantage of online meetings.
Lovely, brilliant. Yeah, it is a real pain when they do it. Usually nobody watches them as well after. So, any more questions for that election for vice chair? Joe?
Yeah, it's sort of running off that. Let's say next term, with restrictions easing, we can have JCR meetings back in person again. How do you feel would be the best way to also maintain an online option for those who can't attend for sort of access reasons?
I suppose I could do it like how some of my tutorials ran in the first term, where it's sort of a hybrid. Like there are people in person, but you can also have like just a laptop that's running the Microsoft Teams and like or the Zoom call, and send out the emails asking anyone that's unable to attend. They can just watch it from wherever they are.
Lovely, brilliant. I'm going to move on from this one. So that election, oh no, I've just remembered what we were going to do for this one. Thank you for not reminding me. So because this is a uncontested election and the role is not an exec election, we are going to vote for this one within the meeting on a general aye. So if you would like Rishi to be one of your next vice chairs, just say aye.
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 Looks like a majority. Looks like a majority to me there. So well done, Rishi. You are now one of our next vice chairs. Lovely, thank you. So we're going to move on to Butler Talks chair. So I've got one candidate that I know of for this. So Joanna, do you want to start your host when you're ready?
Right, hi everyone. Yeah, so my name's Joanna and I've chosen to run for Butler Talks chair. This year I haven't actually seen, I suppose this is like a really bad thing to say, but I haven't actually seen what's happened this year in regards to the role. I know that the role entails just essentially you run a big event, that's like a TED talk, and it's supposed to be, well, just one of those events that the role proceeds and you organize it and sort everything out. But this year I haven't actually seen anything. That goes towards my idea bank, I suppose, to get in touch with the previous chair and also just see what they have done and how I can build on that. Very important to maintain those relationships in that way. So also I was thinking just from my past experience, so I've done work experience where I worked with the International Institute of Economic Affairs, and I was actually just one of those people on the groundwork, running around taking orders, like handing out microphones, that kind of stuff. But I've also been on the flip side of that, where it's scheduling and it is the background work towards everything. So I somewhat have experience in both regards, time managing and like reaching out to different people. It's a very I'd categorize it as like one of the worst jobs because you're just emailing loads of people and getting ignored, but it's still something that I would love to do and love to continue like working on my experience in that way. Yeah, so more ideas for this role would be just encouraging more people. I think that's the main kind of problem with these kinds of events, is the marketing and getting more people to be excited about it and getting more people to come. And I'd love to focus on that and try my best in any way to maybe do more media platforms, whether that be like more social media or word to mouth, getting more like paper trails out there. That would be good. Also, I was thinking if we were organizing it, it wouldn't be me picking a topic or just asking around. It would be like surveys in your inbox asking you to do a 1-second quiz, just saying what kind of theme you'd like or what kind of topic people would be more interested in hearing about, and then reaching out to people in that field in that way. COVID has also taught us the benefits of just being online and also having that aspect to draw more people in if they're not physically able to come to these kinds of events. It'd be lovely if we can have, as Rishi was saying with his minutes, just like a kind of hybrid model where we could introduce a kind of virtual aspect, and that way get more people coming, even if they don't want to, like, I don't know, put on real clothes and leave their rooms. There are always people like that. So I think those would be my main ideas, just marketing, also finding out what people really want, and yeah, including as many people as possible and trying to make the event a massive success. I'm not prepared to talk about my skills, but I just want to say I'm really good at like time management, organization, all those basic skills. I think I'm pretty fair at, and I wouldn't sign up to a role that I wouldn't think I'd be able to give my best towards. So yes, thank you. We're at the end of it.
Thank you. Could we get some questions for Joanna, please?
Ask one. Butler Talks is supported by the college, right? Financially, in some ways, because it helps kind of build people's personal development. You know, like it gives people a chance to speak and talk and all these things. As part of the Butler and Beyond program, how can we make sure that the participants in Butler Talks can kind of utilize the skills they've learned and make sure that, you know, how can it help them find employment in the future, for example?
Right, I'm so glad that you asked that question, because it was just one of the things I missed when I was saying. But one of my ideas was, because I didn't know whether it was like a really formal kind of thing where you get people from outside to speak, which I was prepared to organize for. But also I think it's a lovely idea that students can speak about something they're really passionate about. I'd like to think, because in my old school we used to do talks every week, and that was one of my ideas, but I didn't say them. But it was one of my ideas to make it less of just one event, but more of a regular thing where we can encourage people to speak. So in terms of employment and utilizing those skills, I think when marketing the idea and trying to get people to come or even participate, it would be lovely to just say, look, you can whack it on your CV, you can do this and that with it. And even if you're not okay with speaking in front of people, it's a lovely way of, I don't know, dipping your feet in the water. I could also offer help in that regard of saying, well, if you would like help organizing something or having need to prepare your speech or what you're talking about, I could always help with that. Offer practice runs to encourage more people, so it's not like you turn up on the day and then you have to go for it. You can always meet with me beforehand and we can go through it, and just I think it's more support. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you very much. Cheers. I'm going to move on from this one. So this is, again, smaller role. It's not an exec role. So do you know what we're going to do? We are going to vote for it on a general I again. Camille loves it. Camilla's been dying to get me to do these all year, but we've never really been able to. So if you would like Joanna to be your next Butler Talks chair, can you just shout out a big I, please?
Aye.
Aye. Sounds good to me. Joanna, well done. You are our next. Thank you very much. Okay, we're going to move back onto exec now. So we're going to start with, restart with tech directors. So who's running for tech directors? I don't know. Is it Ned and Harry? Let's see. You ready?
Yes.
I indeed.
One,
two,
three.
Hello, I'm Harry.
Ned, and
we are second year Maths and Computer Scientists here at Butler, and would love to be your tech directors for the year.
Both Ned and I have been members of TechCom since our Freshers' Fair, our assistant tech directors for college. We've teched every formal event such as Winter Warmer, Freshers' Week, and we both have a host of external experience too. We also have both been vice chairs for the past year and are presidents of 4 societies and teams between us.
Anyway, here's our ideas. First of all, one of our main aims is to expand our tech training sessions so more people know how to use and utilize college tech. Maybe you were sitting in Butler bar once, looked up and thought, I wonder how the stage lights work. I want you to channel that enthusiasm with regular sessions on how to operate the light sound system, specific use cases like operating the projector, setting up microphones, or using video streaming equipment. This will give anyone the chance to learn more about college tech, spread the knowledge through the JCR for future generations, and bring more people into TechCom where they can learn more on the job.
Since Freshers Week will be one of the first big events in a post-COVID world, we want to ensure that it is great as possible and would love to improve the representation of the tech team throughout the week. We want to, as Ned has said, improve TechCom membership so that we can have a larger tech team and run bigger events, as well as using some of the downtime during the afternoons of the week to introduce keen freshers to how the equipment works, maybe even giving some an opportunity to operate the tech during the evening events. By being on the exec and having a greater presence in college, we are confident that we will be able to make more freshers enthusiastic and keen to join the committee, ensuring a safe future for all Butler events.
One thing we'll definitely love to pursue is more crossovers with different societies and committees. Some ideas we've had is hosting a recording session with different music societies to create professional sounding recordings of our college bands. We've also thought of hosting specific tech training sessions for bar staff or social comm members where they can more easily and regularly use the equipment in the bar.
Some of you might already be aware, but TechCom has a lot of equipment that in any normal year, people are able to hire out for their own events. We are aiming on improving and expanding the amount of equipment that we have available for hire, which will in turn generate more revenue for TechCom and make it less reliant on JCR funding, which will be very helpful in this transition to independence. We also want to add more packages, as we currently only have a few, like the live stream package and the audio package. One major aim is to introduce a karaoke package for events like Spring Charity Gala, balls, or Freshers Week.
So we want to make a few updates and improvements to our college tech in order to make it more exciting, more accessible for next year. We want to once again make stage lighting operable by phone, removing the need for a full tech setup to use the stage lights. We'd also like to invest in new equipment where possible. We have many different ideas we've been thinking about, such as moving head spotlights that can easily light up certain areas of the stage, possibly a rotosphere or more disco type lighting for different events throughout the year, and less interesting stuff, but still important upgrades, like installing Cat6 Ethernet across the bar.
In terms of further improvements, we would love to hear from you, which is why we'll be hosting tech drop-in sessions throughout the year. If you're planning an event in college, we'd like to be able to be available to chat through logistics and help wherever we can.
One, two, three.
Please vote for us. It would make us very happy.
Right. Thank you very much. Do we have any questions for Harry and Ned? I do have one from Sam Martell, please.
I mean, you kind of answered this already, but do you have, what sort of things do you want to buy next year? Do you have any equipment in mind?
One of you to answer it. Harry, go first.
Sure,
yeah.
I'll go for it. So for me, a big thing is just sort of making events a lot more engaging. So I think Cat6 Ethernet for the bar, as exciting and gripping as that is, it would mean the live streaming setup during Freshers Week. We had to get a bit of a ropey bodge job done. So having Cat6 across the bar where we can just plug it in would make that a lot smoother. JCR meetings much better.
Lovely. Another question, please, Lewis.
Hello. So I have one question in 2 parts. First of all, what are your thoughts on the internal structure of TechCom? How do you plan on using that? And secondly, where does Biscuit Manager fit into that?
Ned?
So first of all, on the internal structure, we want to get more people into TechCom and then we can have more people into the internal positions. Fergus did a great job last year of introducing different positions into TechCom, and that will continue by having that same structure and hopefully being able to fill them positions. In terms of the Biscuit Manager, we would like to have a permanent Biscuit Manager as a member of TechCom and one that actually provides biscuits.
Okay, one more question, if any.
I've got one.
Darcy, go on.
You, as tech directors, have recently just been added to the executive committee. How do you plan, as the first tech directors on the exec committee, to aid the JCR through being a part of exec meetings?
Brilliant question. Yeah, we think it'll encourage better communication with like events chairs and social chair and things in the bar staff, as well as aiding with publicity, because we'll be doing officer reports at JCR meetings, so people will be actually aware of what we're doing as a committee. And then last term there was Instagram takeovers from exec members, and having tech director on the exec to do these takeovers and actually tell people, you know, come along to this tech training session, we've got drop-in sessions. It would just make it a lot more accessible, get more members, bigger events in college. Should be good.
Thank you, Harry. We'll just stop there with that one if that's okay. So that is going to be Harry and Ned versus Ron for Tech Director. We're going to move nicely on to Publicity Officer now. So that is going to be Rosa. Are you ready?
Yes.
Lovely. I've got the time ready now, so off we go.
Hi, I'm Rosa. I'm the current chair of Photography Committee. And since joining university, I've done a lot of like photography for formals, charity campaigns, and events at different colleges, not just Butler. And I had a lot of plans as photography committee chair to sort of run campaigns and things with like other societies and other committees. I contacted the dance group and various committees to discuss that, but it wasn't really able to go ahead because of COVID. But I think that could work quite nicely with Mary's sort of photography and publicity committee in order to make that kind of thing more of a ongoing thing that could even link with Butler Talks, like having just publicising the work that the societies and people are doing. I'm also currently the social media officer for Quirk Zine, or Zine, I'm not quite sure how it's pronounced. And I've also been involved with designing graphics and websites before, and like sorting out an online art exhibition for Solidarity. So I have quite a lot of experience with Adobe programs and Google Slides and sorting out online things. So yeah, my main idea is probably surrounding accessibility of publicity and trying to provide black and white versions where possible and include like visual and audio descriptors, just so that, yeah, if people are visually impaired or anything like that, it can be really helpful. I'd also ideally like to try and expand. So I know there've been workshops before and there haven't really been any this year, but hopefully try and restart workshops and things. And I saw Lily's going to do that anyway, but sort of continue that on and maybe have like a drop-in session every now and again, so that if people do have any queries or want to work out how to get involved, they can do that. And then I'd also like to try and establish some resources that sort of compile a lot of JCR information, but very compactly into one resource. I'd like to try and make it as engaging as possible, so it's not just like a load of words and just like boring, so that people actually want to look at it, and that maybe like signals where there are exec positions running and things, especially with a lot of second years next year not being able to be that involved this year. And yeah, and maybe also I'm currently collating an online art gallery for Solidarity, so maybe something like that, but Butler students work and using the publicity committee to publicise that and put it together. So yeah, those are my main ideas, and that's probably all I have to say.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you. So could we get some questions for Rosa, please? Maybe from Lily?
Can I ask one?
Yeah, Sam, go on.
Our current community, our current publicity and kind of communication channels are mostly through the Mound, the weekly newsletter, and our various kind of social media channels. Do you think they're sufficient, or do you think our communications approach could be improved in any way?
I think that the website probably needs a bit of working on, like just not like it's bad, but just like it's not very, you can't Google it or anything, can you? Like it's not as easy to reach, it's sort of not as obvious. I think that's quite a good way to sort of put lots of information in one space, a bit better than like Facebook or anything, because it's quite hard to get a lot of info without it being like really long and wordy. So yeah, I think like utilising the website a bit more. I've done quite a bit of web design for Durfest. I designed the website for that. So yeah, just working to sort of make that a bit bigger and like trying to publicise it a bit more. But I think generally like utilising social media as much as possible as well, continuing to sort of maintain things across Facebook, Instagram. Those are the main ones.
Lovely, thank you. Can I have one more question?
By all sorry, one sec.
Just keep happening, isn't it? It's just going
Okay, I'm there. We're good. We're good. Sorry about that. By all accounts, next year we should have even more events than we do usually. How are you going to cope with it? Potentially increased workload as publicity officer on top of the usual formals and things like that.
Off you go.
I think trying to expand the actual committee, because I know this year there's not necessarily been a big team of people on publicity. It's sort of just the JCR officer and the assistant. Maybe trying to introduce a motion to have additional assistants, because I think it's quite a good role for if you're quite interested in art, and with the access to the new licenses now, sort of getting people more involved in that, trying to sort of expand it so that we can delegate a bit more, and maybe running a sort of, I noticed this year the Summer Ball Committee have done that, where they've run like a publicity section of their events. So maybe trying to run that for all the events, so people can apply to be specifically working on publicity for events, so that's sort of dividing up the role a bit more.
Okay, I've just got one more quick question. Do you think it is appropriate? No, it's been taken back. Okay, so I'm going to move on from that one. So, sorry about that. That is going to be Publicity Officer Rosa versus Ron. That'll be as well online. And we're going to move on to Chair. So, Joe, you ready?
I am indeed. Am I good to go?
Let's go.
Cool. Hi guys, I am Joe. I am a second-year PPEist, originally from London, and I am standing to be your JCR chair. So I think the importance for a role is having both experience and ideas, and I'll sort of structure my hosts that way. In terms of experience, well, I think JCR chair is there are two sides to it. There's the sort of social side, getting everybody involved, going to meetings, making those meetings fun for everyone, and then also there's a procedural side to it. You've got to deal with motions, creating the meeting, counting the votes, encouraging turnout. There's a lot of admin involved as well. And I feel that so far, my experience at Butler and Durham has given me the relevant experience to carry out both aspects of the role. So in terms of the social side, I'm currently one of the social secs for the best arts team in Durham, the Butler Bees. And despite being social sec in EO, we can't have in-person socials. Me and my other social sec Finley, we've managed to have lots of events online, such as our World Championship social in January. In terms of the procedural side of the role, I'm currently the treasurer of the Durham University Jewish Society, which involves keeping track of finances and submitting forms to both the SU and other external bodies. I feel as such, I also have some experience in the procedural side of the role. Earlier this year, I really enjoyed being head frep, and that is a role where there is a big social aspect to it and a huge admin side to it. So I like to think that the time and effort put into that gave me hopefully lots of experience, which has helped me both understand the atmosphere of the JCR and help me deal with the challenges that come with being JCR chair. So I feel in terms of experience, I hope to have learned a fair bit there. Now, in terms of ideas, I think the JCR is great, but there's always ways it can improve. My three aims as chair are involvement, transparency, and normality. So regarding involvement, a functioning, healthy JCR needs to have as many students involved as possible. I'd like to introduce a raffle at each meeting, where when you come to the meeting, you get a raffle ticket, and at the end, the raffle's drawn and the prize is given just to incentivize attendance. The JCR chair does get a budget, which Jake has informed me, and this budget could be used towards that. As well as this, I hope to continue and introduce more themed meetings, because it's another way of making them more fun and incentivize attendance. Since I last ran for JCR chair, Boris Johnson made a big announcement that Clute could be reopened by the end of June. So I think what would be quite nice in Easter term could be a Clute-themed JCR meeting. Just to get the freshers have never even been to Clute as a club. They've got to. I think as part of JCR chair, it's our responsibility to let them know, the true culture and traditions of Durham, and a theme social around that would be great, and many more throughout the year. In terms of transparency, I think this is perhaps the most important part of a JCR. A healthy democracy needs to be a transparent one. I would love to see more questions of officers asked in meetings, and I guess encouraging them through, say, Google Forms posted on the JCR meeting, on the JCR group could be pretty handy. And also making more posts perhaps on a JCR page, like I currently do as SU rep, just to announce, just so students know what's happening with the JCR. Finally, I'll finish up soon. I'm hoping that next term we'll see the highly anticipated return to in-person meetings. I feel like we will miss actually meeting in person in the bar. Zoom's great, but I feel like we're all a bit fed up with it. So as soon as it's safe and legal to do so, I will see to it that meetings are brought back in person, whilst maintaining an online option, so that we remain both accessible and inclusive as a JCR. And of course, if COVID does manage to get worse again, then I'll be prepared to do everything online. But yeah, essentially being ready for all outcomes. With all this in mind, I hope you vote for me to be your next JCR chair. Thank you very much.
Lovely. Thank you very much. Can we get some questions, please? Sam, yeah, please.
I always do this. My question is, what do you think? So you mentioned doing kind of in person with some online provision. What do you think the risks and difficulties are of this hybrid approach to events, and how could you overcome them?
So I think the really obvious potential issue is that people who are trying to attend online are very quickly and easily shouted down and can't really get involved as much as people who are at the meeting in person. And obviously, I don't think that's a problem that could ever fully be like 100% resolved rather, because being there is always, you will always be able to have more of a presence than those who are just over Zoom or something. But I think, I'd like to work with the tech directors and with the vice chairs to try and make sure that, those who are attending on Teams or Zoom aren't just a little screen in the corner, but they can actually properly be heard, maybe hooking them up to the bar speakers, perhaps projecting them onto the big screen. So it feels like they're there in as much way as possible, just, as good as almost being there in person. So I think, it will never be like being there in person, but I would do that to make sure that it feels like they have as much say and influence on the meeting as possible. Hope that answers your question.
Okay, can I get one more? No, nobody at all. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so that election is going to be Joe versus Ron for JCR chair. We're going to move on now to vice president. I'm going to get, who was I going to get to go first? I think Erwa's going first, so I'll just pop Quentin into a waiting room. And Erwa, you may begin now.
Perfect. Hey everyone, I'm Erwa and I'd love to be your next vice president. So a bit about me. Throughout my time at Butler, I've been involved in lots of societies, committees and sports, including Charity Com, Social Com, Butler Netball and Butler Chamber Choir. I've been on the committees of Summer Balls and Spring Charity Gala, and I was also a Freshers Rep this year. So my main goal as your next vice president would be to increase participation and engagement in committees, because as Charity Com chair this year, I know that that's something we've really struggled with. I think the best way to do this would be to introduce some roles of responsibilities into the committees, a bit like we've done with Charity Com this year, such as assistants, which I know we've already got, but also treasurers and publicity officers. And I think these roles really encourage people to become regular members of the committees, and having a leading role in the committees having a leading role in the committee will also give them a sense of authority, which everybody likes. I'd also like to make sure that all committees both have a social media and are using it regularly, because like we've seen with the pandemic and lockdowns, the internet really is one of the best forms of getting information spread as far and wide as we can. My other goal is to encourage and expand on collaborations, firstly between committees, also with societies and sports. I think that collaborations are a really great way for two groups to work towards a mutually beneficial goal, and we all know that teamwork makes the dream work. For example, this summer, hopefully, Charity Com are collaborating with sports to put on a sponsored half marathon, and we're really excited for that to hopefully happen, fingers crossed. But essentially collaborations will mean that we'll be able to put on more college-wide events for all you guys, and it also mean that one committee or one chair won't have to do all the work themselves, which just makes everyone's lives a bit easier. So why do I think I'd be good for the role? I've got experience with handling budgets, setting up events and taking on responsibility and a position of leadership. I'm able to work well within a team, which will really help with collaborating with societies and sports, and with working with the social chair and both sabbatical officers. I've also got quite a few ideas for events that we can put on throughout the year, such as a competitive trash pickup led by GreenCom, Mr. and Mrs. Butler, which unfortunately couldn't happen this year, but there's always next year, a 24-hour Moundathon, and hopefully the return of the charity fashion show, which could incorporate all of our committees at once. Hopefully we'll be drawing I'll start again. Hopefully we'll be drawing close to the end of the pandemic this year, but being the pessimist I am, I'd obviously have online backups for all of these events, so that if they can't happen in person, we could do something online. I'd also like to introduce talks from organisations like local charities or environmental activists. And I'd love to work with college, with the president, and possibly also Karen or Adrian when he comes back, to set up a volunteering scheme for students at Butler to get involved in our local Durham community. It won't only help small businesses and non-profit organisations, but will give Butler students the opportunity to help out the community, and it's great for CVs and resumes. That's pretty much everything. I know I don't have a lot of time left, so thank you for listening, and good luck to everyone running tonight.
Cheers, Owa. Thank you very much. I'm just going to throw her out and then bring Quentin in. Hello, Quentin. Can you hear me?
Hello. Yeah. Hi.
And you may begin now.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name's Quentin, and I would love to be your vice president next year. I love Butler, and since arriving here, and even before I got here, I've been overwhelmed by the community spirit our college has. Like, everyone is so happy and willing to help each other wherever possible, and this is something I'd really like to push and like help facilitate if I were to be elected vice president. So this year I've been a part of Equality and Diversity Committee and Welfare Committee, and I've really enjoyed being part of like positive change and getting involved. I've also had experience outside of college and being chair of the Academic Affairs Committee through my role of being the undergraduate rep for the science faculty. And through this role, I've seen how useful it is for seemingly separate groups to interact, share their ideas and progress. And this is something I'd really like to push as vice president. If I were to be elected, I would chair monthly meetings between committee heads so that every committee is like aware of what's going on in college, and like they can source, you know, help and advice from other committees, and it's easy for them to communicate and collaborate. This has obviously been discussed quite a lot this meeting, and I'm very happy about that because it means my idea was good. I think working together in this way is the best route to meet our college values and to be the best college we can be. And though committees work individually on their own goals and, you know, that help us as a college be the best we can be, I believe that the greater collaboration would lead to be like us being a more inclusive, more green, more charitable, and overall more successful Butler. So an example, like an idea that I had for this is maybe charity committee could work closer with the event chairs and social committee to make events more charitable. So you could push for more donations to local food banks at formals, and perhaps offer a prize to households that have donated the most throughout the year. We could offer the option to round up an events ticket price to make it easier to donate to the charities we're supporting. I would also like to make it easier for Green Committee to be more involved in the organisation of events, so that everything we put on as a college is as ethical and sustainable as it possibly can be. And then, you know, the greater involvement of Welfare and Equality and Diversity Committee and International Committee would also help to make these events as inclusive as possible to every Butler student. As Vice President, I would also like to increase awareness of and engagement with committees. When I joined Butler, I didn't think committees were something I could get involved with. I always saw them as something like, you know, you did hit that you were like when you'd been here a bit longer, when you're a bit older, you had more experience, but obviously this isn't the case. We need every member of Butler to have a voice and have a say. And one of the best ways to do that is to promote engagement with committees. In first term, I would plan to showcase a different committee every week throughout first term to show what each committee does and exactly how you can get involved. I would also publicise the benefits of joining committees and how the experiences you have in them can definitely help you. Like I've been having a lot of internship interviews recently, and there are questions that I wouldn't have answers to if I hadn't been part of these committees. So overall, I love Butler, and like I want to hashtag get involved and make the college the best it can be. I want it to be obvious to those who have been here years, those just joining us, and those deciding whether or not to apply, exactly what we stand for as a college and how we're working to meet our values. Thank you.
Lovely, thank you. I'll just let Erwa in. Okay, she should be back in now. Could I get a question from somebody, please?
Yeah, sorry, can I ask?
Yeah.
Cool. So as I mentioned in my confusion about the motion of events committee earlier, I think it's quite commonly seen that, especially with the effect of pandemic, while the committees in Butler College is not very well connected with each other. And well, personally, as Green Com officer this academic year, I feel like there were a lot of opportunities that we could have with other committees if we were better connected with each other. So, and I also heard things in both candidates' speeches that you are going to do something about enhancing the connection between among these committees. So I'm just curious to know how what is exactly the approach that you're going to take? Like what measurements, what are you going to do about it exactly?
Quentin first, please.
Yeah, so as I mentioned in my host, I'd want to like chair these monthly meetings between committee heads, and so let's just take an example of that. Let's pretend that we're in the planning of Winter Ball, so the event chairs for Winter Ball are saying, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, it's going to be great. So then at that point, the international rep, the green rep, the welfare rep, all of the committee reps will be there to say, oh, what have you thought about this? And in that, it can be, oh, have you thought about making this part more sustainable? Equality and diversity, like as Laura mentioned earlier, just like, have you made it more inclusive? Welfare can come along and say like, oh, have you thought like this part might be quite overwhelming? Could we maybe introduce this sort of quiet space for people to go to? Just so like people feel comfortable attending. And yeah, that's basically my idea, just like that collaboration, that communication, I think could really benefit us as a college.
Lovely. Same question to Erwa, please.
For me, I think the best thing would be, because obviously the vice president kind of acts as the connecting factor between all the different committees. So, for example, if I'm really sorry about the background noise, I live with children. So, if there was an event coming up, for example, Spring Charity Gala, obviously the vice president would kind of be very hands-on with it, incorporate Green Com to obviously make it environmentally better, Charity Com for the charity aspect, Arts Com, Publicity Com, welfare, etc., etc. So I think the best thing would be to have the vice president act as the connection kind of factor between all the committees, and obviously pass on information from one committee to another. And yeah, I think possibly a termly or bi-termly kind of get together with all the committee chairs or committee reps or officers, just so everybody can kind of do like a little officer report, see if they need support with anything, and see where to go for the future.
Yes. Can we go to Ellie Davidson, please?
Yes, so you've answered quite a few of my questions I had already, but just a quick one. So this year, obviously, events have been online. So when things get back to normal, how would you guys plan to incorporate the JCR values into college events?
Erwa, please.
So I think the best way to do that would be our publicity, things like Facebook, Instagram, social media, and also the website. I think for, like I've mentioned earlier, all the kind of committee chairs to be involved within the setting up of an event. So obviously everybody gets their 2 pence in and can also obviously explain to the other committee chairs and to the vice president how they want everything to work. Would probably be the best way to uphold the JCR values. I think we need to all make sure that all the committee chairs and everybody kind of involved with everything is aware of those JCR values as well. So yeah, kind of reinforcing values, making sure everybody knows them, and incorporating them within both the publicity for the event and the event itself, whether that be in a poster, in a banner, or just kind of telling people about it through word of mouth.
Okay. Quentin, please.
Yeah, so like I said about like the sort of intercommittee meetings, I think that could really benefit us, like I think collaboration is the key to success, which sounds really cringy, I know, but I think it is. And, when you're hosting an event, obviously it can be quite overwhelming to sort of reach out to all of these different committees and say, oh, can we have some advice? Can we have some help? So to have these intercommittee meetings where you just, whether it's in person or on a Zoom call, and you can say, we need this doing, but we're not sure how, then another committee can step forward and say, we know how to do this, we've done this before. I also think greater publication of the JCR values, because, I think a lot of people know we have them and know what some of them are. But, I don't think there's really enough knowledge around what all of them are and what we're doing as a college to work towards them. So I think greater publication of that and sort of like making sure that every committee knows like you know, these are our JCR values. Every event we put on need to abide by these JCR values, because if not, we're not doing our job as like a learning, inclusive, environmentally friendly college. So really just making sure everyone's aware that, you know, when they take on these roles, they are representing the college in a sense, and they are making sure that we're abiding by our values. And then the collaboration alongside that to keep everyone sort of like in check, I think would be really good.
Thank you. Just very, very quick point of information on that. Me and Sam have been working on a sort of document that goes through the JCR values that will be available to the college very, very soon, I would assume. One more question. We're okay to move on if not. Lovely. Let's move on from that. So that is Irwa versus Quentin versus Ron for Vice President. We're going to go on to the big one. Oh, it's already online. He's thrown it on the website already. Christ alive. Katie, I'm going to say goodbye to you for a second because we are in our FACSO election and you'll be up second. But Orla, how are we doing?
Great.
Yes, good. Sounds it. Okay, you've got 5 minutes on the clock. Here we go. Off you go.
Hi everyone, I'm Orla. I'm a third year psychology student and I'd love to be your FACSO next year. I've wanted to go for this role since my first year to help make sure every student's college experience is the best it can possibly be. I've loved getting involved in college in every way that I can. I've been a post-offer visit day rep, a FREP, been on the F's pool team and worked at our beloved JBs. I've mainly been involved in planning college events. I've been on committees for Winter Ball, Summer Ball and Spring Charity Gala and chaired last year's online Summer Ball. On social comm, I've helped with the setup of every formal since coming to Butler. And this year, as social chair, I've run social comm, served on finance comm, and gained significant experience working with budgets. Being on the exec this year has taught me so much about adapting to make the best of difficult situations. I hope these experiences show my dedication to Butler College and give me the skills and understanding of JCR life to do a great job as FACSO. Firstly, in the community aspect of the role, I would like to organise summer events to give 2020 and 2021 graduates the chance to come back and celebrate their hard work. The usual graduation events are so important for making students feel like a valued part of the college community and recognising their achievements. I'd also like to promote the Developing Butler and Beyond scheme, which aims to create stronger bonds between current students and the wider Butler alumni community. I'd like to organise more networking events, both in person and online, to provide more accessible opportunities for Butler students, past and present, to interact. To expand our events calendar, I'd like to develop the Reformers lunches, which I pioneered this year with the help of other exec members. They were important in first term as one of the only things that freshers got to go to in person, and we still managed to get across the Butler spirit. Even when traditional formals come back, I think there would be a popular and fun and more casual alternative to formals. They could even be adapted for promoting stronger relations in the college community, for example, as an alumni mixer event, meet the staff, or college family day. And this year, so much work has gone into building a strong online presence for Butler, and I think it's important to maintain it going forward and ensure it's accessible to all students. Like the Reformers lunches, much of what we introduced started as a means of adapting to COVID life. But as we start to return to normality, I see no reason why we can't have both. Furthermore, given the improved accessibility of online activities, some societies have really thrived this year, and I think this shows just how important supporting both aspects will be. It will be vital to provide extra time management support for students next year as well to ensure everyone gets the most out of college life. We're all out of practice juggling our time, and in my previous roles, I've aimed to stress the importance of allowing yourself time off work to enjoy all opportunities that university life provides. If I were to get FACSO, I'd work really hard to produce resources, for example, planners, to help people manage their time, and would continue the late night Thursdays, later office hours, so that students who want to come in for a chat or support can do so at a time that works for them. On the financial side, I'd like to continue some of the great work that's gone into establishing the role this year. I'd like to ensure that students fully understand the benefits of paying the JCR levy and becoming a JCR member. On finance comm this year, I learned so much about the running of the JCR behind the scenes. We do not run for profit, and so I would work to ensure that students know their money is spent on them and on enriching their college experience. Also in finance comm, I learned so much more about the trust fund bids and the opportunities they can provide to gain assets for the JCR and free up money for other purposes such as events. I'd like to increase awareness of applying for trust fund as an option for clubs, societies and committees by improving signposting and providing support for writing applications. In my past involvement in planning college events, I've had multiple opportunities to work with local businesses and look into sponsorship options. And I want to pursue this further to support financing for bigger and better events at Butler, such as more mega formals, and in the hope of bringing back our much loved charity fashion show. I've been so lucky to be a part of this college from my time at Durham. It made leaving home and settling in easy, and it's an experience I want to be able to recreate for Butler students over the coming year. It was the Skidoo in our first year who encouraged me to go for assistant social chair, and that led me to get involved in so many other parts of college life and really built my confidence. And having the chance to do that for someone else is why I would really love to be FACSO.
Thank you very much, Orla. I'm just going to kick you out, if that's okay. So put in waiting room, and then we're going to let Katie pop back in. Hello, Katie.
Hello, hello.
How are you doing? You ready?
Yeah.
Lovely. You can go now.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Katie. I'm a third-year geographer, and I would love to be your next FACSO. My involvement in college started in Freshers Week, where I was persuaded to run for Arts Committee Chair in my first ever JCR meeting. From then on, things only got better, and I went on to become a co-chair for Butler's charity fashion show, which was a huge success, raising over £2,000 for Centrepoint. In my second year, I was lucky enough to be Publicity Officer on the JCR Exec, allowing me to brand every formal and huge event such as the Game of Thrones Winter Ball and Spring Charity Gala. This year, I'm co-chairing Butler Day, which we are super excited about. My involvement in these events has given me solid knowledge of budgeting, organisation and team building, meaning that I've developed the skills I need for FACSO. With the recent creation of the Event Organiser Handbook, this will really help people going forward. I would love to have event workshops in the President's programme to help and inspire any committee, sports or society chair or president who want to have their own events with the added possibility of sponsorships. I'd also like to build on our relationships with local businesses and charities, whether that be inviting small businesses to have a stall at our events or spreading awareness of local initiatives through publicity. With the vote of independence coming up soon, I believe it is crucial to work towards getting us the best deal for the JCR, whatever the outcome. By keeping streamlined and tighter finances throughout the year through cooperation with FinanceCom and the use of debt reminder emails, we can continue to issue termly reports to give updates on how your levy is being used. Communication is vital throughout this process, so I'd like to introduce Sab's vlog, showcasing Butler life in video format. This would give another way for Butlerites to know what's going on beyond the finance reports and give a break from all the written communications. This would enhance our online presence for those who live outside of Durham or overseas, and also give future Butler students a taste of what Butler life is all about. This year has been naturally tough, but I hope we can be optimistic in looking forward to bouncing back from COVID, whether this be with blind book dates in the library lounge, JBCFC running laps around the site, or International Comms Lunar New Year. It's you guys who get involved who make the Butler spirit what it is. In order to reignite college engagement next year, I would love to help push more mega formals, allowing more people to attend so that existing and incoming freshers can live the Butler experience. This would also allow finalists to have more opportunities to attend formals, giving everyone more flexibility when managing their academic commitments. I'd like to expand summer sessions after exams, giving everyone a chance to celebrate their hard work. And for those leaving Durham this year, wherever you end up after graduating, you're still part of the Butler family. The alumni network is continually growing, and I intend to make next year's events even more inclusive of past Butler students by building on Butler and Beyond and summer events. I believe it's our duty to ensure that everyone should be able to get equally involved in the JCR, no matter their financial background, and I'm eager to make the JCR office a friendly and welcoming place, and to have the door open when possible to show that we're approachable and ready to hear your views and assist you. The Butler community is at the core of our college, and I would love to aid the JCR by further exploring areas that the JCR could fund in order to improve the well-being of students, such as the Accessibility Fund and signposting places of support. From dropping out of another university before I came to Durham and fighting to get into Butler, to crying my eyes out with happiness at Colours Formal in first year, I believe this college offers an amazing community of opportunities and unforgettable memories that not many other universities across the country can offer. Even in the worst of times, from standing outside a Newcastle nightclub in a bright yellow frep top in the pouring rain, to those dreaded hangovers after a night in Clute, I cannot stress enough how rewarding my time has been at Butler. Being your FACSO would let me give back to the Butler community as much as it has given me. So I hope you'll consider me for this position and help make the JCR a place where everyone can get involved. Thank you.
Lovely, thank you, Katie. I'll just let Orla back in. Okay. Ola, are you there?
Yep, hi.
Lovely, thank you. Could we get some questions, please?
I better ask one. I've got.
Go on then, Darcy, go on. Might as well, mightn't you? Seeing as you are the current FACSO.
Oh, I feel quite emotional. Those were both very lovely.
bless.
How will you continue and grow our financial transparency within the role of FACSO?
Can we go to Katie, please?
Yeah, so your financial reports have been amazing. I think getting them out to students wherever possible would be great. Like I said, with the video, that could also, show off what we've done throughout the term, just so that people sometimes don't understand maybe the graphs or something that could like add and do it in a different form of communication. Yeah.
Ola?
So I would agree, Darcy's work this year has been incredible. And I think that using the sort of programs to make sure that everything is in a very clear format, such that whatever's allowed to be published can be shown to members of the JCR so they know where funds are being allocated. And I think the Talking Freshers Week as well is so important so that people understand where JCR money is sort of designed to go for the levy. And I think it would be great to have maybe members of the current JCR, as well as sort of the FACSO or treasurer giving the talk, having other members of the JCR come up and talk about their sort of experience of being a member and their benefits they've experienced of where their money goes.
Thank you. I was just going to be like, Lewis, why do you not want to ask a question? He's not here. He sent me one like an hour ago. Need to head off now. But can I submit a question? How do you think the treasurer/FACSO role should split their work? So, for example, do you think it should be in the standing orders how they split it, or do you think it should be up to each pair on how they do it, and how do you actually think that they should split it? So, Orla.
I would definitely say actually that it should be up to the pair really what their sort of areas of expertise are. Obviously, it can help to have outlines of the rules in the standing orders, but I think if two people are working together, then it's better to decide between them where their strengths are. And also with time management, obviously it's important that the FACSO can support the treasurer and vice versa. So yeah, I would say decided between the two.
Katie?
Yeah, I'd probably have to agree. While you could have something in the standing orders where it would show like delegation between the two roles, definitely playing on the pair's strengths. There'll be, everyone's got their own strengths, so I think definitely working on that. But yeah.
Can I just get one more, or maybe two more? You can have two more if you want. Sam?
I've got another one if you need.
Go on then, Darcy, go on.
I'll take two. So there was some mention of resources, etc., what kind of financial resources would you produce for our student groups? What kind of, I don't know, you could give like one example of here's one thing that I'd like to give to people so that they know about this before they start their job as a treasurer of a society or committee or whatever, or captain, president, etc.
Katie?
Sorry, can you just like sum up the question?
Yeah,
again?
Let's do that one again. Yeah.
Sorry, if you could give a resource, like produce a resource basically for press program or something like that, what would that resource be? An important resource.
So what is in, so like the events president program is in like, so you would, is that what you're trying to ask? Yeah, okay. So I'm just confused of what the question actually is, but yeah, so events, workshops in the president's program, just showing people maybe the structure of how people like do things and who they can get in touch with, connections and support, signposting where to go if they don't know where to go. And also I think it's important to give people their own independence when they're making events. So, they can do things first, and then if they need help, they can go to someone.
Orla, what resources would you give to people?
Yep. Well, I guess if we're coming from like a finance point of view, I would say that for like Pres program or something like that, it would maybe be good to have like a standardized kind of budget sheet that they could all be in a similar format. And I know that for the sake of processing, you know, and people making them, it's kind of hard to know what to include at times. I know for events in the past, I struggled to know, you know, how to set things out. And I think maybe if there was like a standardized sort of template almost, something like that for preses, be it for events or for societies and clubs, having something like that they could work in the same format across the board would be useful, I hope.
Lovely. I think we might as well stop there then. So that election is going to be Katie versus Orla versus Ron for FACSO. And that's going to be online as well. So should we do something silly? Should we do something really, really silly now?
Yes.
So what we've got tonight is we've got something silly and then we've got something quite cute that I've done as well. So, but we'll start with the silly one first. Right. So I'm going to start this with how I started the last one. Does anybody know why I've been drinking so much this meeting? Darcy, can you tell us what's going to go on?
Well, we're going to do a little race.
A race?
Yeah, it's a race. It's a little...
Can I just ask, are you two ready?
I'm just going to mute because I'm a bit restricted.
Okay. Darcy, tell me what's going to happen.
So we're going to do a bit of fancy dress at the JCR meeting today. It's a FACSO challenge with a theme, several themes.
Christ.
So basically, I will give you the theme of a party or something. You go as quick as you can. Put on, you don't have to take anything off. Just put stuff on over what you've got on already. Fast as you get dressed. Get to the computer. I'll tell you the next theme. You go get changed into that one. But you know, as you come in, I'll tell you the next theme. And whoever.
Right. So they go get this first theme, then they come back. What happens if they hear the next theme and are planning it? You know what? It's all silly fun, isn't it? It's all fun.
I don't think
we don't overthink things here. Right, so what you do is Darcy's going to shout out a theme, you're going to run off, get into that theme, and then you're going to get the next theme, run off, get into that theme, and then you're going to get into the next theme, and then that's it, yeah. And then we'll do a little, who was best sort of thing. You ready, Darcy?
I'm ready. Are you guys ready? First theme. Under the sea, go!
If I was doing this one, I think I'd throw water over myself. I just think it makes me be like, yeah.
I was going to say, you don't drink water, Jake.
Water or wine?
Who is it?
How long do we have?
It's a race. Go as fast as you can.
Oh, God.
It's Usain Bolt going, oh, sorry, how long have I got? I don't know what she's doing.
I just see little flicks of curly hair.
Yeah. Orla's really gone. She's gone somewhere else. She's gone next door to see if they've got anything
I'm
there.
moving house and literally everything is in box.
First, I wasn't going to tell them what was going on. Then I was like, oh, Katie's moving house. So I'm going to have to give her a bit of a hint as to what's going on.
I'm giving them a hint.
No, they knew what was happening. They've got things ready. They didn't know the themes. Okay, Orla, are you happy with that?
Yeah, I'm happy. Oh gosh, they're at the same time. Jungle, go, jungle.
I'm a narwhal, by the way.
Narwhal. Yeah, I see it.
I thought you were a knobhead.
That's good, Jake. I hope that's in a minute.
Yeah, I'll ask them what they are next time.
Oh, all is back.
Oh, what are you?
Tiger.
Okay, the last theme is toga. Katie, what are you?
I'm a park ranger.
Cool. Next
With
thing.
a
Last theme's toga.
Toga. You know what to do.
That's so mean.
There she goes. There she goes. She's doing exactly what you wanted her to do.
How does this work?
It's like all this.
Oh, Jesus.
Orla's going to go to Scotland.
I love how we can see the process for this one.
I bet you before they were just running around trying to do things really quickly.
Oh!
It's
It's Becky. Oh, it's the race is over.
And there we go. The race is over. It looks like Katie did just.
Yeah,
get
that's fine. In a second.
Well done to both of you. Congratulations on your FACSO challenge and your candidacy. Again, we're not voting on the challenge, we're voting on their ideas and their husks, just to confirm that. Right, do we have any other business from anyone else? No, I've got a bit of any other business. So you know, like when people come at the Big Brother house and they get like their best bits, and usually it's been made by some producer. I made some for myself. So this is going to be the most narcissistic video you'll ever see. So I'm just going to get this up. Can you all see a little video that's ready to play?
Yeah.
Yes. Let's just watch this. This is just something I made earlier. So just before I start, I filmed this like over quite a few weeks. My hair changes, I've got a bit of a beard at one point, but not very much of a beard because I can't grow one. My clothes change a lot. I've been drinking now, so I'm sober in bits, I'm drunk in bits. Just take it for what it is. Should have really said something like, I will make sure they stay in the Zoom call, man. Don't have any other business, so that's it. That's my first meeting. Cheers!
Just keep drinking. Just 1 second. Oh, you know what? It's just a stressful time every time I do this, isn't it? To be honest. Oh. One of these people is going to be voted to do our Butler Tucker trial, and they are going to have to eat as many bugs as we get a percentage. Can I get an approval of minutes with the general wig, please?
It's only the chairman who can remove people from a meeting. You have no authority there, Jackie. No authority at all.
No, the can't because the vice chair's here. Keep the standing up.
I'm Jackie Weaver. Now, you're probably all wondering why I've been drinking so much this meeting. And the reason is because of what's about to happen next.
Sam, you do know speaking Spanish and having been to Spain isn't a personality trait.
Wig. A little bit confused with what's going on with Shireen. She does have her camera off.
Someone challenge me.
I think there's the presidential challenge going on now, Shireen. Do you want to
I said, did someone challenge me?
Yes, I did.
Fucking Christ, okay.
Yo, Chua, this is how you roast.
Josephine Butler would have given them both a whip, let's be honest.
That's true, that's true.
I mean, I don't know the woman, but yeah. Thank you very much, everybody. I'm sure I'll see you all soon. Please do vote in this election. I was going to say that I was going to shave my head if we got above a certain percentage, but my hair's too nice, so I'm not going to do that. Thank you very much, everybody. I will see you all very soon.
Thanks, Jay.
Bye.
And that's it. I'm done now. Thank fuck for that.
Wow, thank you,
Jake, will you allow me to say just one thing, Jake, please?
Go on.
I've never been more pleased to lose an election to someone. Your levity, your injection of flair and drama into these meetings has been, I think, exactly the thing they needed. You were
Not
the
to
right
mention the
person.
consumption of alcohol.
The right person at the right time with the right video editing skills to really bring us through a whole year of bloody Zoom and Teams meetings. Jake, you've been an absolutely wonderful chair. I thank you for your hard work this year. And I think I speak for Ned and Harry as well when I say
Absolutely.
had the most amazing time working with you and serving as your vice chairs, propping up the big sofa that is Democracy Committee.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for everything, Jake. This year has been an absolute blast.
Cheers, Jake.
No, I am actually surprised. Thank you so much. Oh, you know what? I have had some fun. A lot of it's been horrible, but I've enjoyed a lot of it.
At least so.
I think we can say that for the whole year, let's be honest. A lot of it's been horrible, but you know what? We've made do. We've done the best we can, and we've enjoyed as much of it as we could. So thank you so much to everyone who has actually fucking come to these bloody online meetings. I didn't think they were going to be fucking online. Neither did any of us. But I'm glad that I've done what I could do with them. I've tried my absolute best with them. And I think maybe I was quite suited to doing this sort of thing, but yeah.
Absolutely.
It's been so good.
Yeah, so good.
Thank you, Jakey boy.
Thank you, Jakey boy.
Thank you, Jake.
Right, I've got to fucking put all these elections online now.
Work never stops.
It really doesn't. You see, you forget that I've got another half an hour after this meeting doing this shite. And I'm a bottle of wine deep at the moment. So.
Good luck.
Thank you so much for coming, everybody. I do love you all. I will see you all very soon. Yeah, wig. And see you later. Good luck.
Thank you, Jake.
Thank
Cheers, Jake.
Bye.
See you later, guys.
Bye.
Bye.